Mr. Speaker, this is my 19th budget speech and my 7th as government minister. I will begin my speech by giving a synopsis of what has been achieved over the last year in relation to my areas of responsibility. These are culture, the media, youth and sports. Mr. Speaker, the Gibraltar Academy of Music and Performing Arts, GAMPA, has had another successful year. GAMPA is housed at 63 Flat Bastion Road. I am pleased to report that they have already outgrown those premises due to their huge success. GAMPA can now boast nearly 400 students. It is currently outsourcing space in South Barrack Road recreational rooms, as well as the drama studio and the music room at Bayside Comprehensive School. Therefore, given its huge success, the government has decided to allocate more facilities to GAMPA. I am pleased to announce that the old sisters' quarters beside St. Bernard's Middle School will be made available to GAMPA. This newly refurbished building is expected to be ready this month. The premises will provide much needed space as from September. In our 2011 manifesto, we conceived a scheme known as Learn an Instrument. This has taken the form of a campaign which promotes certain instruments which children might not necessarily be aware of. This year, teachers of the Academy toured all first and middle schools in Gibraltar. They used what is known as the Charanga music system, which encourages, excites, innovates digital music teaching and the learning of it. They have been able to recruit students to attend the Academy on a regular basis. The Academy has held a great number of performances and other initiatives, which include drama, choir singing, and orchestral music. In the third term of the year 16-17, from April to June, they participated in and organized 12 events. From September to December in the first term of the 17th-18th year, they were involved in 8 events. And in 2018, this year, from January to June, they have been involved in 12 more events. Mr. Speaker, a very successful and busy schedule. GAMPA continues to work very closely with the Parasol Foundation in order to develop the Parasol Foundation Scholarship Program. This program has been designed to help the next generation of musicians and actors to develop and to have teaching contacts and preparation time. The government is pleased that the program has been renewed for another year. 6 scholarships for excellence and promise and for beginners who show potential have been offered. Further scholarships have been awarded to students who qualify under financial hardship rules. This goes to the heart of our philosophy as a government. No child should be left behind due to financial constraints. Ensemble scholarships have also been awarded in order to develop children's ensemble skills. The objective is to have such students eventually as a youth orchestra. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Parasol Foundation for the partnership they have established with GAMPA. Another part of GAMPA's development program has assisted Bishop Fitzgerald and Notre Dame's schools, learning support facilities, and St. Martin's Special School. This is through the provision of 8 hours once a week of drama therapy with a fully qualified drama therapist. The Academy, as well as the government, feel it is our duty to provide performances, opportunities, and workshops to children from all backgrounds and intellectual abilities. So much, Mr. Speaker, for ignoring the vulnerable. This program is working very well. The Academy is now an official examination center which caters for students locally as well as from the surrounding areas. The Association Board of the Royal School of Music exams have been held in Gibraltar for decades under the management of the College of Further Education. For the last 3 years, this been conducted at the Academy, which at the moment has the best facilities. It is a great opportunity to offer all our local students the chance to have better examination conditions. These exams have also included the Trinity Rock and Pop, which have proved to be very successful, and the Trinity College London Drama exams. Mr. Speaker, I now move on to the Gibraltar Cultural Services. They organize and supervise many events for and on behalf of the Ministry of Culture. Some of these events carried out in conjunction with other ministries. This has been the case with the first ever and most successful Youth Open Day, which took place together with the Gibraltar Youth Service. The Literary Festival happens in conjunction with the Gibraltar Tourist Board. Although together with other departments, the street art, also together with the other government departments, the street art project has been launched as part of the government's urban renewal and regeneration policy. GCS this year, on behalf of the Ministry of Cultures, commenced some new initiatives. They have launched the Youth Arts Jamborees as part of our cultural development program. The aim is to create cultural, heritage, and youth leaders of the future by providing a platform dedicated to young people. The first ever Artisans Christmas Market at the Lyne Road Boulevard has been organized. They have organized and supported other cultural development programs, including the Fitness Gallery and the History of Art Films at the Leisure Centre, amongst other events. GCS has and is in the process of organizing a number of retrospective exhibitions. They organized one depicting Gibraltar's fashion scene through the decades. This was a huge success and featured many local designers, such as the late Johnny Pierce and the late Eduardo Biotto, amongst many other individuals in the local fashion scene. They further organized Gibraltar's presentation at the Island Games 2017 in Gotland. The presentation was held to promote the Island Games that we will be hosting in Gibraltar in 2019. They are currently working to launch in January 2019 an exhibition that will celebrate the life, works, and legacy of Gibraltarian Helio Cruz. Works have also started for the July 19 Island Games exhibition that will celebrate Gibraltar's participation in the Island Games from 1987 to date. This will be organized in conjunction with the Gibraltar Chronicle. All these exhibitions are part of our government's ongoing cultural development initiatives. GCS has been instrumental in promoting what is this government's policy on exporting our culture to the rest of the world. We have now established a number of annual events which help local artists exhibit their works abroad. Such is the case with one of our artists participating annually in competitions at the Royal Academy Summer Exhibitions. The Gibraltar Berlin Art Residency project will take place for the third year this month. This will see a Gibraltar artist taking up an art residency in Berlin and a Berlin artist doing a residency in Gibraltar. This will lead to a book and an exhibition that will be launched in October at the Mackintosh Hall. We have also supported 4 local artists to exhibit at the Bermondsey exhibition, which was organized in London in October last year. Our latest endeavor is supporting and promoting a cultural exchange between the government of Gibraltar and the Diputación de Cádiz. This will see 18 Gibraltarian artists exhibit at the Diputación, and works from the Diputación coming to Gibraltar's Gustavo Bacaritas Art Gallery in February-March 2019. GCS is also charged on behalf of the Ministry with organizing a number of annual events and festivals during the year. This includes Jib Talks, which has proved to be extremely popular. The Spring Festival featured the Young Shakespeare Company, which were especially flown over from the UK. The ever popular Calentita. The list of events include the autumn program. There's a whole list, but I just mentioned the International Art Competition, Literary and Poetry Competition, the Drama Festival, classical concerts, amongst others. GCS has been working on updating the cultural register in line with the current child protection policy, as directed by the Child Protection Committee. The government, through GCS, has been able to acquire 30 new artworks for the government's art collection. Most of these works are Gustavo Vacarita's original, and others were produced by many local artists. GCS does not only organize events, but also charged with the maintaining and looking after cultural premises. On this front, we can see how all the assets that they manage has been transformed. This includes the Mackintosh Hall and the library. The Inces Hall has seen new light installation, and all the facade has had structural works and a general facelift. The Central Hall, the Gustavo Vacarisa Art Gallery, the Fine Arts Gallery at Casements, the Gemma and Montague Bastion, the Mario Finninson National Art Gallery, have all seen improvements. Mr. Speaker, the government remains firmly committed to the development of culture locally and to export our arts to at an international level. Therefore, as the Minister for Culture, I am delighted to confirm that Gibraltar Cultural Services, on behalf of the government, will establish a cultural development unit during this financial year. The unit will introduce training programs for cultural officials, groups, coaches, performers, administrators, and persons involved with our culture generally. It will support cultural organizations, develop generic cultural educational programs, and most importantly, organize training in cultural leadership. Mr. Speaker, it is imperative that we produce programs that sow the seeds for the creation of cultural leaders in the future, in the same way as we do in sports. Apart from GCS, the ministry itself has organized many events during the past year. These include events like the Jazz Festival and the Darts Tournament. Mr. Speaker, I will tackle Mr. Clinton's contribution in relation to the Gibraltar calling, but before I will tackle the contribution from Mr. Llamas. Frankly, it doesn't make sense. Don't they talk to each other? Mr. Clinton, Mr. Llamas don't seem to be in speaking terms with each other. On the one hand, Mr. Llamas accuses me of not giving him enough information. Then he says that we have spent 5.6 million on the MTV Gibraltar calling. Has he read the estimate books? That is not the figure in the book at all. So where is he getting this figure from? When he said that last year we had a downfall on ticket sales, so where does he get that information from? I would like to think that he's not getting into the habit of the GST of saying porky pies, lies. Mr. Speaker, before I close on a purely cultural part of my address, I must also reply to the Honourable Mr. Clinton, following his comments on MTV Gibraltar Calling Festival. It is clear that Mr. Clinton does not like the music festival. He has never liked it. Unlike the thousands upon thousands of Gibraltarians who turn out, buying tickets every year on year, even more, and turn up to have a good time. Mr. Clinton probably prefers a good book and some classical music. That is his choice. As a liberal, I say, do what you want. I like good books and classical music too. However, I do not let that color my judgment. The honourable member has explained about the cost of events. I would like to take a few moments to explain the value of the events as opposed to the cost. First and foremost, the expenditure includes 400,000 of monies that had been spent of the MTV Gibraltar calling for 2018, i.e. the deduction in the estimate books from 2.5 to 2.1 this year. The following are reports from MTV that monitor the reach of all their programs through adverts, marketing, social media outlets, etc. These also have a value in monetary terms. Social media value by artists using the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat accounts is estimated to be £306,000. Commercial value monitored by exposure per minute of the Gibraltar calling brand on Channel 5, 10-Pack, Comedy Central is worth £142,157. MTV has made a comparison with other of its programs dedicated specifically to festivals. Mr. Speaker, MTV eVisa got 4,512,003 views, which have a value of £383,520. MTV Presents 5 Festival got 6.1 million views, with a value of £518,528. MTV Varna Beach got 3.5 million views with a value of £297,709. And MTV Gibraltar Calling, Mr. Speaker, got 7 million views with a value of £593,305. And on the general UK programming on other platforms, the value is £255,464. Therefore, a total of 1.3, nearly 3 million, exactly 1.296926. That is why, though the expenditure this year has been higher, it has been worth every single penny spent. As they say, the greatest Gibraltarian of all time used to tell me when I was on the other side, you know, he didn't even address me as the honourable member, you know the cost of things, but not the value. That was in relation to the disastrous royal, the theatre, the Royal Theatre, where they were spending, or they spent, the cost was £10 million, and the value was zilch, because they had nothing to speak for. Mr. Speaker, I now turn to my responsibility regarding the media. This is likely to be the most significant year ever of our national broadcaster, GBC. It is expected that late next year, they will move on to brand new premises at South Jumpers Bastion. Radio Gibraltar celebrated its 60th anniversary in February this year. GBC TV marked its 55th year in 2018. Despite the consistent service to our community, GBC has never been able to operate from adequate facilities. But it's time for change, Mr. Speaker. And going forward, our national broadcaster will operate from a state-of-the-art facility. GBC's management team is fully focused on the location project. Design works is now at a very advanced stage, with the start of construction imminent. The new broadcasting house will include 2 television studios and 4 radio studios, as well as 2 video editing suites and 2 voice-over booths, together with studios and transmission control rooms, technical areas, and functioned office accommodation. Estimated completion of this project is towards the end of 2019, early 2020. Mr. Speaker, this financial year, much of GBC's investment in technology will be linked to the relocation project. Although ongoing equipment replacement continues, this necessarily impacts on the new systems being installed at the new broadcasting house. The corporation's engineers and specialist consultants from UK are devising plans of action to ensure that the existing facilities are able to continue broadcasting with a seamless transition to the new building. Gibraltar Freeview Limited, which also falls under my responsibility and which operates the digital TV and radio transmitters, are also planning its new relocation of their systems from South Barrack Road to the new Rocher Road location. In a project of this magnitude, I am ensuring that all interested parties work together to arrive at the ultimate goal of having the best broadcasting facilities possible for GBC's employees and the community as a whole. Notwithstanding the relocation project, GBC continues to inform and entertain local audience. GBC maximizes its budget to provide consistent programming for viewers and listeners. In addition to this, GBC News, GBC Sports, GBC Radio, and Radio Gibraltar are very active on social media platforms and via their websites and apps. With Speaker, TV programs such can be highlighted from past 12 months are the Gibraltar-related travel show inspired by Madeira, the local history program In Their Footsteps, the local natural history series Rock Explorers, the Viewpoint series, and notably its public debates, the City Pulse community show, the live FIFA World Cup Gibraltar qualifiers, and numerous Christmas, New Year's, and Easter specials. There have also been an array of major outside broadcasts. These have covered events such as National Day, New Year's events, the Three Kings Cavalcade, amongst others. Radio Gibraltar has not stood still either. It has refreshed its sound, coordinating with its Diamond Jubilee, and ensures it is present at a variety of public events through its community roadshows. The GBC Sports Awards were deservedly expanded this year, with this having become a much looked forward to event by our local sports fraternity. As a Minister for Sports, I am delighted that GBC should recognize the achievements of our outstanding sportsmen and women, and I take this opportunity to congratulate them all for this year's winners. Mr. Speaker, another highlight of the past 12 months was the GBC Open Day. It raised a massive £127,000, a true testimony to the generosity of the Gibraltar's businesses and general public. The community rallies around GBC every Christmas, practically as a one large family to raise funds for deserving local projects. GBC employees deserve a very big thank you for leading on this and making it such a success. Mr. Speaker, we are proud of our television and radio station, which consistently delivers. And so I have no hesitation in paying tribute to its management staff for their passion, dedication, and high editorial standards. It is not easy to given how expensive the media business is, while having to compete with such larger foreign channels available locally. GBC's Chief Executive assures me that work is already underway on programming for the next 12 months and beyond. There are several series in pre-production and broadcast rights having been acquired for the live coverage of Gibraltar Games in the new UEFA National Nations League in September and October this year, and the Euro 2020 qualifiers next year. Plans are also in hand for comprehensive coverage of the Gibraltar 2019 Island Games. One innovation that will happen shortly is the introduction of closed captioning of TV programs on air. For some time now, GBC has proved subtitles provided subtitles for the hearing impaired via its website, with this now being extended to programs aired on television. Improved technology has meant that with a reasonable investment, systems are being upgraded both at Broadcasting House and the Gibraltar Free View Limited digital multiplex, and most local programs on their repeat showing to include closed caption. Although this will still be bound by a 48-hour delay in the production of subtitling from the initial broadcast, the move will soon provide Gibraltar's hearing impaired community with a much enhanced opportunity to follow many GBC's local program via TV service. I am confident that with the resources made available to GBC, and as the corporation works towards moving to their new premises, that Gibraltar will continue to benefit from and enjoy their own local TV channel and radio station. Mr. Speaker, I now move on to my responsibility as Minister for Youth. In the past year, the Youth Service has continued to reach out to our community. The service has increased its face-to-face work and has reached out to other government departments, agencies and NGOs in order for them to work together to improve services for young people in our community. The Youth Service is committed to personal professional development and constantly continues to update skills of all its employees by offering them training. One of the courses the staff experienced was a very successful and inspiring day of personal professional development training that focused on personal well-being at work. Safeguarding children and young people is paramount, and the Youth Service is part of the Child Protection Committee. The Youth Service has increased its commitment to support the child protection in Gibraltar. Mr. Speaker, the Youth Service will continue to work towards signs of safety model by being committed to making a multi-agency approach in managing safeguarding issues and placing the welfare of young people at the heart of everything that they do. One of our senior youth workers is a member of the Safeguarding Children subgroup and a trainer for the multi-agency team. We can now say that all those working with children and young people go through a stringent process of vetting and training. The Youth Service has continued to provide projects to all clients that attend the clubs. Projects that develop young people's artistic, photographic and film skills. Programs which involved residential camps. These camps develop a great number of life skills and enable young people to disconnect from technology-driven modern-day society. To this end, the Youth Service has organized a great number of camps in the hinterland where they have enjoyed outdoor education with a back-to-nature theme, exploring and learning about the wilderness, bush crafts, nature and survival. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Luce Foundation for helping funding these trips. On their return, young people who attend give a presentation to the trustees of the Luce Foundation, highlighting the impact and the benefits of the trips to them. The Youth Service is also involved with the community by participating in our annual cavalcade and producing floats, by getting involved in the Clean Up the World campaign, and by helping on Flag Days by raising funds for charity. The Youth Advisory Council has been expanded to include the RGP, the Education Department, the GHA, the Care Agency, and the Drug Coordinator. This aim to develop a more coordinated approach between government departments and agencies when dealing with young people's issues. The first ever Youth Day was celebrated in March this year. This new initiative, jointly organized between the Youth Service and the Gibraltar Cultural Services as part of their Youth Arts Jamboree Month. It was a day to celebrate young people's achievements and for them to see what is on offer to develop themselves as individuals. The focus for the next year's event will center on forming a working group comprised of young people to make all the decisions and event planning for their day. Meeting with young people and talking to them is vital. We now have a youth forum, renamed by them to the Voice of Young People. They are currently working on a directory for young people for them to know where they can source different services. This Voice for Young People does two things. Firstly, as the name now suggests, it gives young people a voice in which they can say and bring up whatever subject or concerns they may have. Secondly, it gives me and others present in the meeting an opportunity to understand their concerns. The government can then solve the problems that they are encountering or implement their suggestions, which in most cases are sensible and most importantly are feasible. Mr. Speaker, ever since the Youth Service and the Royal Gibraltar Police signed a Memorandum of Understanding, both organizations have built and established a professional relationship of trust. They have made significant progress in many areas that have improved our service to the young people and the community. As an example, a significant number of people have benefited from the RGP's joint funding through their Charities Committee of Residential Weekends Away. This will be held in October, and it will allow young people to build positive relationships with their neighborhood police officers and with the youth workers. The youth community workers have also supported the RGP, new recruits, by providing training regarding working with young people in our community. I am happy to say also, Mr. Speaker, that the Girl Guides hut at the Nature Reserve is nearing completion. This hut or centre will be a great asset for the Girl Guides who do an extremely invaluable work with young girls. This project had been in the pipeline for nearly 15 years, which had been presented to the previous administration, and they did not think it as a worthwhile project. We will continue supporting groups that work with young people, as do with the Duke of Edinburgh, Scouts, and now we have added the St. John Ambulance. The support is in the form of an annual grant, which give them for the excellent work, an annual grant given to them for the excellent work they do. Mr. Speaker, I now move on to my responsibility as Minister for Sports. As the House knows, the Gibraltar Sports and Leisure Authority is tasked with the running of all sports-related matters. This includes the management of the Bayside Sports Complex, the swimming pool, playgrounds and parks. Part of the Bayside Complex has been sold to the GFA in order for them to develop the National Stadium. The GSLA will retain the hockey pitch, the Tercentenary Hall, and all the pitches and grounds west of the complex, which include the boathouse, the paddle tennis courts, the tennis court, the jet ski enclosure, the climbing wall, and the stay and play centre. A program of upgrading and refurbishment has been taking place. The hockey pitch, for example, the watering system had been malfunctioning for an extended period of time, and this resulted in increased water consumption. So investigations and upgrades were approved. This included the reconfiguration of the system's overflow and return valves to include the recycling capacity of the tanks. It also included the installation of new dosing pumps to sterilize the water recovered from the pitches themselves. These works were completed in August 2017, and it has resulted in a total saving of £30,010 to 46p up to and including the 31st of March 2018. Aside from the obvious monetary saving, the system now recycles approximately 65% of the water and is in line with the government's green policies. Mr. Speaker, all 3 paddle tennis courts have undergone a substantial upgrade. All 3 received new artificial surfs, a much-needed lighting system, and the installation of competition-graded perimeter fencing. The advice and suggestions of regular users were taken on board. This is one of the GSLA's most popular facilities, and it has now increased in popularity further, still as a result of the investment undertaken. The boathouse, which now houses the Island Games 2019 office, was given a much-needed facelift. It is now used regularly by many associations and has become the hub of the organization of the Island Games. The current red metal girders and fencing at the front of the Tercentennial Hall spectator stands renders the first 4 or 5 rows unusable, at best offers extremely restricted viewing. These will be replaced by appropriate glass paneling, ensuring that spectators will have full, unrestricted view in future. At the swimming pool, all works at the plant room are now complete, and the modernization of the system has meant that there is no longer need for a weekly outsourcing of backwashers, chemical levels control, and other related tasks. The existing maintenance agreement was therefore no longer required, resulting in a savings of £65,000 per annum. In addition, extra savings has been experienced through the reduction in chemical consumption, which is approximately 50%, water consumption approximately 40%. In effect, this means that the capital expenditure required for the upgrade has been addressed. As with every financial year, the parks and playgrounds under the GSLA remit have continued to receive relevant repairs and upgrades. The playgrounds at Chiltern Court Housing Estate and the Cutland received major upgrades. The GSLA team are also constantly fixing and maintaining all the park equipment on a rolling basis. Given the recent sale to the Victoria Stadium, in particular the Victoria Stadium Sports Hall, there is a need to provide a second covered area in the Bayside Sports Complex to meet the regulation in order to host international netball events. The provision of a cover over the multi-use games area, MUGA, will not only address this issue, but will provide an extra indoor area for all users during the normal wet autumn-winter months. Works are already started on providing the Gibraltar Cricket Association with outdoor cricket nets. These will be retractable in nature and will make use of an area that was currently used for storage. This facility will replace the old permanent nets which now lie within the footprint sold to the Gibraltar Football Association. The fact that the nets are retractable will mean that the GSLA gains an extra facility to use for schools, associations, and other community use activities. The GSLA management raised serious concerns regarding the staffing levels at the GSLA swimming pool complex. After an extensive review of the swimming pool complex, it was decided to move to a 3-shift system. Therefore, the GSLA opened 2 vacancies at grade 5 pool manager initially. These vacancies were advertised internally with 2 sports and leisure officers as the successful applicants. 5 other vacancies for pool operatives, lifeguards grade 13, were also advertised as per standard protocol regarding recruitment from within HMGOG agencies, authorities, and supply workers. The result of the recruitment is that the facility has now moved to a 7-day week offering and extended services to the general public. HMGOG, via the GSLA, have been involved with all the events held at the complex, both at a logistical as well as a financial level. These include the UEFA Futsal International matches, the Gibraltar World Pool Masters 2018, World Snooker Gibraltar Open 2018, Euro Hockey Club Challenge 2 Men, to name but a few. In addition, the GSLA offers logistical supports and facilities for local sports, Association to complete their leagues and development programs. This support is offered throughout the year. They also assist schools in fulfilling their PE curriculum, both at the Bayside Complex and at the GSLA Swimming Pool Complex. The Summer Sports and Leisure Program 2017 once again improved on its previous year's attendance. 527 children were registered, with the main arm of the program, namely the Sports Train and Stay Play program. The Sports Train offered sporting and leadership activities every weekday morning for 7 to 14-year-olds. The Children's Corner offered appropriate sports and recreational activities 3 days a week for 5 to 6-year-olds. The family evening sessions noticed a marked improvement in attendance, with sessions attracting groups totaling 80 plus on occasions. The Stay and Play program offered sports, physical, arts, and leisure activities for children with disabilities 5 days a week. This element is particularly needed to view its rescheduling given the significantly higher attendance, and with this in mind, the temporary staff complement have been increased for this upcoming program. In addition, the care agency was actively involved in the induction training program for 2017, adding to the quality of delivery while safeguarding the interests of leaders and users alike. The GSLA also worked in partnership with sports associations, 27 in total, to provide a wide range of sporting courses and taster sessions for children and young people. Other positive leisure providers also contributed to the program, these being the Ministry for Culture, the Ministry for Heritage, the Ministry for Environment, the Gibraltar Health Authority, the King's Bastion Leisure Centre, Childline Gibraltar, St. John Ambulance, and the Gibraltar Kennel Club. Such is the success of the program that the sponsorship arrangement with NatWest has been extended. Mr. Speaker, I am therefore glad to report that the NatWest will again be supporting the program during 2018. The program for 2018 was only launched last week. The government is grateful to NatWest for their continued support. Once again, HM government has supported local sports association and athletes when travelling abroad to participate in official international competitions. This has been done via the Gibraltar Sports Advisory Council. In addition, sports development initiatives were also supported. More so than any other years, and given the uncertainty that Brexit conveys, special consideration was given to attendance at congresses and annual general meetings. Active involvement in the dealings of international governing bodies has and will become one of the most important aspects of international membership. As per the previous financial year, individuals who present cases for financial support under the elite category have been supported after application were considered on a case-by-case basis. As Minister for Leisure, another of my responsibility is that of King's Bastion Leisure Centre. I am happy that after 3 years being run by Leisure Management Services, the centre has gone through great improvements. They have managed to maintain the revenue of 2017 very much the same as 2016, with significant increases in the fitness gym. This is due to the fact that it is well maintained and well run on a commercial basis. The fitness gym and the recreational rooms have had ceiling panels installed, as the paint usually used to flake off due to dampness. The revenues are the same despite the fact that membership fees are well below the market value. The Games Arcade has seen during the last 3 years a vast improvement in both sales and the quality of the equipment. Several new arcade machines were installed, including the virtual reality Extreme Ride Simulator. A very large LED panel screen, 50 meters long by 2.8 meters high, has been installed at the back of the bowling lanes to enhance the area and also to generate additional revenue from advertising for 2018. By having a full-time maintenance team, many improvements to the centre can be achieved. They have had to do a considerable amount of painting and repainting because of the historical nature of the building. Mr. Speaker, when the centre was built under the previous administration, there were hardly any environmental considerations to the manner and form of the construction, so much that this government doesn't do enough for the environment. This means that the electricity costs are exorbitant. I know that the honourable members don't want to hear this. To this end, glass panels to the roof were fitted with sun reflector screens to help keep the temperature lower, particularly during the summer months, and also to save on air conditioning electricity costs. Other parts of the roof have been replaced due to the poor original design, which has given the centre problems for many years. An automatic glass door was fitted to the entrance of the tunnel. New LED lighting was installed on some of the arcade vaults, as well as a LED strip in the passage leading to the Commonwealth Park that the entrance is more appealing. In 2008, the centre's main project will be to replace all of the bowling equipment, including pin setters, ball returns, lanes, new scoring system, with a brand new equipment ahead of next year's Island Games. All the costs are factored into the legacy of the Island Games project. We will also be installing a cashless card system whereby visitors to the centre will be able to use a card which they can credit at one of our on-site kiosks. They will then be able to pay for all the services that we offer with the same card. This includes the arcade machines and the counters in the bowling, fitness gym and the ice rink. All be fitted with readers. Mr. Speaker, all other entities at the centre are doing well. Boys is now a great place for functions. Just for Kids is becoming even ever more popular, and the leisure cinemas are not only bringing the latest films to its screen, but it is also having live performances from the heart of London's theatres. We are therefore hopeful that in the next 2 to 3 years, the upward trend will continue. For this, I would like to thank the management of LMS and all its workforce who have really made the difference. They have contributed to its success. Thank you too to the entities that are part of the centre, like Boyd's, like Rock Bastion, like the leisure cinemas, for being able to work together for the good of the centre as a whole. Mr. Speaker, I propose to start my summary of all that has and is going to is being done in the preparation for the 2019 Island Games. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome to Gibraltar the International Island Games Association Committee and all the delegates from all the 24 islands that will be with us for the next 4 days for their annual general meeting. Mr. Speaker, when I first thought of presenting to Cabinet the prospect of hosting the Island Games, the operative word that came to my mind was legacy. This is how the London Games were sold to the citizens there. So the honourable member probably doesn't agree with us about the legacy, but never mind. He can have his laugh. He who laughs, laughs best. I am obviously very grateful to all my government colleagues who have embraced the concept and are actively working to be able to fulfill this goal. This is a collective goal, and never in the history of Gibraltar has a government invested so much time and effort in sporting projects than the GSLP Liberal government. This is going to be transformational. I also ask people to be patient in the final year before the Games. Yes, there will be disruption due to construction and preparation for the Games, and even due to the actual Games. But in the long run, this will be good for Gibraltar. I can inform this House that all the sporting projects are on budget and on time. At Lathbury, we have a football rugby pitch and an athletic 8-lane track and field facilities, a 52-meter Olympic-sized swimming pool, and parking space and stores underneath the whole of the complex. At Europa Point, we will have a multi-purpose hall as big as the Tercentenary Hall at the Bayside Complex. We will also have squash courts, a darts arena, indoor nets, as well as dormitories for visiting teams. There will be changing and conference rooms, as well as bars, cafeterias, and facilities. This will be the home of rugby, squash, cricket, and darts. It will be used by all indoor sports, such as netball, basketball, futsal, badminton, table tennis, etc. The Special Olympics complex, it is one which is dear to my heart, so much for not looking after the vulnerable. This complex will transform for many reasons. It's transformational for many reasons. We are looking at facilities which will be fully inclusive in every way. The aim is also to provide sheltered employment there. And the complex will have the state-of-the-art facilities for all. The shooting range at the North Mall, together with offices, car parking, stores, spaces, is progressing well. These will be also the state-of-the-art facilities, which will be ready for our Island Games, but which will continue to be used for many years into the future. The student accommodation at Europa Point, which I am leading on, is on track. Again, this will not only be used for the Games, but it will be used in the future for students at the university, which is virtually next door. Mr. Speaker, the government has a duty to be positive and to invest in the well-being of our community. This is what we are doing by hosting the Island Games in Gibraltar next year. The benefits are huge. From the outset, we focused on delivering the best Island Games ever. When I traveled to other such games over the years, I have been stopped and praised by people who remember the Sunshine Games that Gibraltar hosted in 1995. Hosting an Island Games is a great honor, and I can say now that the response that I have had to date from everyone in our community has been duly exceptional. Not so exceptional on that side, I might add. The committee, the members of the Gibraltar Island Games Association Committee are giving of their own time and expertise to organize the best games ever. They are using the model of the Jersey Games. Therefore, the first thing they did was to form a company which would be managed by and run by the GIGA, the Gibraltar Island Games Association. The company now employs 3 full-time employees: the Chief Executive Officer, Games Director, and Logistic and Planning Director. Further, we have a number of subcommittees who are dealing with all aspects of the organization. These include finance, legal, accommodation, transport, volunteers, commercial operations, security, games operation, ceremonies, media. Such subcommittees has a team that work on their own remit. They report on a regular basis to the company. We also have a regular meeting with all collectively to coordinate with each other. I would like to at this point to highlight that all the members of the subcommittee are doing this work on a purely voluntary basis. On behalf of the government, I would like to thank them all. The Island Games the Island Games office at the sports complex, Boathouse, is the heart of all the organization of the Games. Things are moving very well and at a fast pace. I am extremely happy at how everything is coming together on the organizational aspect. I have thanked everyone for the work they are doing. However, I must single out one person for a special thank you, and that person is Linda Alvarez. She has put her organizational skills and expertise to very good use. I would also like to tell to all our citizens that soon we will be launching a number of initiatives in relation to the Games. The Games belongs to all of us. We must all take on ownership of the Island Games. We will be asking for all in Gibraltar to show what they are really made of as a community and to engage in whichever form they feel they can contribute. The Games should bring us all closer together. The benefit of the Games goes even further. Mr. Speaker, it will showcase Gibraltar as a forward-looking society, and it will expose the beauty of our country. It will also benefit our economy due to the fact that we will have 2,500 athletes, coaches, and officials in our shores for at least 8 days. All our businesses and commercial entities will benefit. Many of us will enjoy the sporting programs that we intend to put on during the Games. All of the work we are doing to create this legacy will not only be in brick and mortar in the form of facilities. The legacy will also take the form of an industry. This sporting industry can be developed further by having once we have the facilities are in place. We are already working at using these wonderful facilities to attract sporting teams to come to Gibraltar. We want them here not only to compete against us in tournaments, but also to take time training and preparing themselves for the professional arena. Gibraltar will be well placed to attract this sort of market. This will then be a win-win situation, since we will not only host them to spend time and money here, we will also be able to learn from them as to the training schedules, nutritional aspects, and lifetime of a professional sports person. I will end by saying to everyone in Gibraltar, let's get involved in the Games and be part of it. Mr. Speaker, I want to close my address this year by saying thank you. I would like to thank all members of the Youth Advisory Council, the Youth Forum now named the Voice of the Young People, the Gibraltar Sports Advisory Council, all the cultural groups from arts, drama, photographic and dance fraternity. Thank you also to all the members of the governing bodies of the sports who are involved in delivering the state-of-the-arts facilities, which will leave a lasting legacy well after the Island Games has passed. I am grateful to the organizing committee of the Island Games, who do this without any financial interest. The team at AKS and at Arfilas that are producing all the architectural and technical designs for all the sporting and cultural projects with which I am involved. Thanks to all those at technical service who helped me steer these projects. Thanks to all goes to the staff of the Gibraltar Cultural Services, at the Gibraltar Academy of Music and Performing Arts, at the Leisure Management Services at the King Bastion Leisure Centre, at the Sports and Leisure Authority, at GBC, and last but not least, at the Youth Service. Mr. Speaker, thanks to you and your staff at the Parliament, and last and definitely by no means least, my staff at the Ministry for Culture, without whom I would not be able to implement all the positive policies and manifesto commitments with which I am involved. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.